Hello, listeners, viewers. What's your favorite scary movie?
Let us know. Let us know. Let us know.
Welcome to the Let Us In podcast. I'm Emma of The Impact.
I'm Justine, just enough.
And I'm Crystal, aka Creepin' It's Spooky.
And surprise, Sydney, it's our Scream franchise episode.
Oh,
But one of the characters that I'm like, yeah, that's me, was Heather Matarazzo's character, his sister, Randy's
the
sister.
sister.
Have you guys seen Welcome to the Dollhouse?
no. I know the song.
It's a very realistic depiction of middle school, and she usually plays that type of character. But I won't go off the rails on that. I do recommend Welcome to the Dollhouse.
I actually was hoping that she was going to be one of the killers in Scream 5.
She just shows up to in 5. Oh yeah, but she's
Yeah.
hardly in that one too. She's
I
not
know.
like
That's why I was hoping she'd be a killer because she had so much tood when she gave them the tape in 3 that I always thought she just didn't want to be there as a sister, but she loved her brother, but at the same time she missed her brother because he's dead at that point. So she's doing his last wish, but I always got this salty vibe
right at
from
the
her.
right moment when the
Yeah.
characters need it, not before.
Yeah.
Right,
So I always thought it'd be fun for her to come back in 5 and be one of the killers. Just really upset that her brother died because of Sydney and
Would make
them.
more sense.
she has more of a life than that.
Yeah.
She's moved
Yeah.
on.
Instead,
got a
she has
family now.
2 freaking awesome kids. I
Mhm.
love the Meeks Martin twins. They're 2 of my favorites from the.
See, that's
fifth.
my biggest complaint about 5 is that we just don't not. I know we have a while to get there, but we just don't spend enough time with the kids that get murdered. You just don't care that they get killed.
Yeah. I don't know. Disagree, but I liked it.
It's
But
okay. It's a movie.
What are we good with?
One.
Scream 1.
Oh, I don't know. I
There's
feel like
so
we
many
haven't done
iconic
enough.
lines.
There is.
I could do a whole episode on just Scream 1. So
Like
that's
Yeah.
watching Scream 1. I remember that a lot of people thought that Henry Winkler was the killer. It's like I can't even imagine why people would think
because
that.
of the
I mean,
mirror
he's a little
in the scene.
because
There's
he's intense. He's
and
great in it.
the scissors.
The scissor. And
Yeah, he's a little wild.
it's funny that if you look at Scream 5 when Jenna Ortega is looking at the
Yeah.
Stabcast for the answer, and we see if you look close enough, it says that Ron Howard played the principal, which is funny because they both were in Happy Days.
Co-stars of Happy Days.
Little,
Yeah.
I love that. That's cool. I think you talked about that in our trivia, and I did not know that. I don't think I ever caught that. That's a really awesome Easter egg.
There's a few Easter eggs in that. Yeah,
there is. We can go into a lot of Easter eggs through these films.
Mhm.
Something I really loved about Scream that I think is also super iconic. My eyelid got stuck. Did you see that? One of the things that's super iconic is the rules, and that's one of my favorite scenes in the first film is Randy getting up during the Halloween movie that they're watching with Jamie Lee Curtis. And he stands up and he talks about the movie rules. And the delivery is so perfect. And the way it plays off of Matthew Lillard's character. And you get a glimpse that Matthew Lillard clearly doesn't care about Tatum either in that moment because he's flirting with the girl in front of him, being all like, ha. That whole scene.
Whoa. How is this happening? I think we have to wait. Oh my god.
That was weird. I've never seen that happen. Whoa.
We've had people we've ducked out because of weather or disconnection, but that's never happened before. Oh my god.
Did that creep
Skynet just grabbed her.
Just grabbed
Just
her.
give it a second. I don't know if you can hear me.
Oh,
but
yeah.
You hear yourself?
No.
Oh my
Because
god.
it's like my internet just cut out all of a sudden for no reason.
What happened?
Was I a robot?
It was like you had a short circuit. You were frozen like this. And we just heard loudly scream over and over.
Oh, I thought she said scene. I just kept hearing scene.
Oh, scene. Oh, scene. Yes.
Scene.
Just
Sorry.
over and over.
And I thought it was me, but then I saw Crystal moving. We're both.
Yeah. We were both like, what?
You guys were just frozen for me, and I was like, okay, cool. My camera just stopped working. Oh, everything's not working. Oh, I lost connection. Fantastic.
Huh.
I'm still on Richard Gere's Astro.
Is that what the rumor is?
Just you being really emphatic on that point. Scene, guys.
Okay.
Scene.
I love the Lemmy Winks episode of South Park. Everyone else here hates South Park, so whatever.
Almost as much as Star Trek.
They're very different. Who is the hottest
Yep.
Scream character? Who do you guys think is the hottest Scream character?
Wait, we could go
Like
movie
the
by movie.
franchise or movie by movie?
Whatever you guys want to do.
Let's go movie by movie because that's more fun.
Okay,
Oh my
yeah.
god.
The first
Can we
one for
pick
me is
hottest
Matthew
and
Lillard.
favorite? Yeah.
I'm not making the rules. Yeah. You guys go
Okay,
ahead.
so hottest. Yeah, it might be Matthew Lillard. Oh, that moment when
I'm
she
going
like
Matthew
turns
Lillard.
around and runs into him and he's like, seeing him like,
Oh God!
you're so
Done. I
My
immediately
mom and
saw
dad
it,
are
like,
gonna be so mad at me.
and the butt. Make me laugh. We'll tell.
Yeah, no.
It is
Done
not
game.
too early to bring up
Done.
Jenny Ortega. They'll get to. We're doing movie by movie apparently. Good idea, Skyhawk. Good idea.
Yeah,
Go
we'll go
ahead.
movie by movie.
I like that. No, that's it. I'm with her. Matthew Lillard. The minute I thought of that chess scene, I'm like, yep, that's it
Yep.
for me. I melt every time. Every time I'm like, damn, the way he's just like, sorry, go ahead. Go.
I need to go watch this after. Woo.
I know. You guys had to ask us a thirsty question. Look what you've done.
Yeah. Yeah. Ooh, Emma, I need to know yours though, because you apparently hate everything.
I don't hate everything. I don't
I'm
hate
kidding.
You know it's not Skeet Ulrich.
I rather date Fonzie. Ugh.
Ooh.
No offense to Fonzie. My favorite character would be I adore Matthew
Hottest.
Lillard. I think he's
One you're most
the
attracted
hottest,
to.
isn't he?
Fair.
Isn't he?
She'd probably come close for me too, actually, especially in the first one. I love her in the first one.
She's very pretty. Oh, I like her later with her
Well,
like
so
nuts
she's like
bob.
kind of
all
tough.
throughout the whole.
I love she's got these cute teeth.
Yeah.
Yeah, she does have cute teeth.
She does.
Okay. All right. Now we're getting into.
One of
I
the
love that
best
it takes us
ones.
to college.
Yes.
Brilliant. Brilliant.
Yeah,
Because of
I
course,
guess.
something bothers me whenever like you have these teen films or franchises and it feels like they're in high school forever. And I just want them to go to college, move on like normal people. Like
Yeah.
we're not gonna and they all look old. Come on. Like older. They're not
They
high
don't look
schoolers.
old.
Older. Corrected myself. Older.
This is one of the best
opener,
opening
yeah.
scenes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
So good.
The
Because
theater.
everybody thinks it's like a publicity stunt. Like to
Oh,
get
it's so good.
slaughtered in front of all those people and people just don't believe it. They just think it's
And
like
the
for fun.
music. It's like, and she's
Oh.
like,
Feels
so
like
dramatic.
Wes Craven, who always is commentary on the American family, and whether it's even Last House on the Left, even The Hills Have Eyes, Nightmare on Elm Street. And then when it comes to talking about how movies affect people or how they actually don't, and he says that a lot in New Nightmare, as we were talking in our Nightmare on Elm Street episode, the idea that it creates its own evil to blame a movie on some systematic problems
Right.
that create violence, creates
Right.
more violence, and it's a scapegoat. So they say that that's the message also in Scream, the iconic line, movies don't make killers, they make killers more creative. So then in the second one, it like really hits you with that perfect, great opening. It's a great opening in the movie theater.
And
it feels
grounded
like-
in our it's grounded in our fandom still.
And I feel like it makes a bit more commentary on the whole media thing with the press and with 100% Cotton, which I know it's not until the third one, till he's 100% Cotton. So that's why, which we're not going to talk about the third one yet, why the third one's interesting because it's more about the systematic problems within Hollywood. I was watching an interview with Wes Craven and he was talking about this subject. And he was saying, well, about problems within the Hollywood system and their effect on movies and how they always get away with it. And I'm like, damn, Wes. True. Within their system.
Yeah. Yeah. Have you guys ever been to the movies and had a crowd like that?
No.
That
Sadly, no, once. And it
Really?
was, it wasn't as big of a crowd, but
Yeah.
it was a lot of teenagers to see a movie that wasn't very good. It was The Gallows, and it was quite fun because
that movie was so bad.
It
But it was
was.
hyped. Oh my god, there is so much hype for that film.
It was just like teenagers having fun in a horror movie kind of thing.
Well,
It
it's
wasn't people like
definitely
excited
marketed
to
for
be
teens.
there.
It was definitely
Like, I
marketed
went-
for teens.
I went to a movie premiere. I used to work at a radio station and we hosted this premiere night for one of Star Wars or something.
Episode 3 was huge.
Okay, that probably was the one, honestly, because we hosted this huge like premiere party. People dressed up and people had like lightsabers and stuff, and I got to go to the front with like a microphone and like talk, but it wasn't nearly as busy. Like it wasn't as cool. I would much rather go to the Scream 2
Oh my
opening.
god. I feel like we need like a Scream Stabathon like thing to like
Yes.
travel where everybody gets dressed up and gets hyped like that.
Oh,
The problem is there's been too many killers in actual theaters in real life, so bye.
come to Canada.
Yeah.
Really?
Canada's
Besides
So
the Batman Rises event? That's the big one.
yeah, that was the big one. Yeah.
that
Yeah, I
one.
think people have just generally murdered people, but since then, that's all it took for tensions.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's more. I just didn't make the news now.
No,
But
people
I
kill
think it
people
was so
everywhere.
fun. Not the killing
Country
part.
music festivals.
Stabbing
Yeah,
Yes,
the whole is
having a
wild.
festival, a film festival would be a lot of fun, dressing up and all that.
Thank you. Yes. Yes.
So
No,
fun.
where everyone
Can we
survives.
do that? I just
We
want to.
could.
Let's just do it. Let's just do it.
It'd be so fun. Would you guys come to it, chat?
I
Let us
would.
know.
Oh, I thought you were talking to me. I was like, yeah.
No, of course you would.
Oh, obviously, I'm organizing it, right?
Yeah, of course.
Yes, Crystal, let's do it.
But I won't go though.
I might show up.
Oh,
Because Crystal then will be stuck with me, being like, "Yeah, the second one."
no.
I know, right? You know
No,
what,
you
Crystal?
should be fun.
Crystal, this moment.
You would have to
Scream
sit
3,
between us where we like are elbowing you the whole time. Like, we're like talking the lines in your ear the whole time.
You know what, Crystal? This scene in Scream 3 reminds me of when Q was on the bridge of the Enterprise and
Oh my god.
I'd ruin it.
God.
I still have fun.
I wouldn't do that to you.
So when you guys saw Scream 2, did you feel like the moment, first of all, Mickey, so
You
hot.
close your mind. Hey, Mickey.
So fun. The
I'm so
he's
cheesy. I'm
such
so
an
sorry.
interesting character because he's such an observer throughout the whole movie. He doesn't talk a lot. He's there the whole time with a freaking camera in his hand almost the entire time. And he's silly. He antagonizes Randy a lot. So obviously we know that Randy dies, which really friggin' sucks.
I will never forgive them ever.
Yeah, that was
Ever.
really
Part of the
tough.
movie.
That was a tough
Because
one.
Randy
He
is us. He's the horror.
He's
fan.
us. Yeah.
He's us.
It definitely hurt. That's for sure.
It was dumb.
And
It
because he's
was.
such a genius, he should have survived through the whole franchise.
And they had to bring him back in the third one because he was such a fan favorite. So they had
Yeah.
to do a post-death like diary video.
Do you guys remember
it,
that
sadly.
happened was that the Scream 2 script was leaked. So they had to change the ending. They had to change the whole ending. And so to the point where they wrote the rest of this like new script on this special paper that's like it's this kind of shipping paper, so you couldn't replicate it where it could be read because it was leaked online and everyone knew what the
Yeah.
ending was going to be. And there were going to be about 4 killers in the original Scream 2 script, and Randy was going to be Gail's cameraman originally in the original Scream script.
I'm glad he's not.
Oh.
I'm glad he's
Well,
not. I really liked him being like still like into Sydney and like
Yeah.
following her around, but like at the same time, they still leaned on him quite a bit for his expertise on what's going on. They had really great exchanges, and I don't think I would have liked Gail at all if she treated Randy the way she treated her cameraman in that
Yeah.
I don't know in that
holy.
film.
was Dwayne Martin, right? Who played his name was Joel, right? The cameraman.
And he just
That's
I'm
an
out of here.
acceptable name.
I know about that scene actually is
Yeah.
that he was originally going to stay in it. I don't know if he was going to die or not. This has nothing to do with the script change. They shoot the scene where Randy dies, and
Yeah.
the actor goes up to Wes and he's like, "No black man would stay after this. You know that, right?" And Wes is like, "What?" He's like, "I would leave the movie. The character has to leave. Book it out of there." And Wes is like, "You want to leave the movie?" He's like, "Instead of my character dying, yeah." And he's like, Wes is like, "How are you gonna leave?" He's like, "A cab, Wes, a cab." And that's how he leaves in the movie, which is funny. And then we see him come back in the end once all the danger's over. But I thought it was funny. It was very cute, and rightly so. I would leave.
I love it. Yeah,
I would
I
leave.
love it.
Very smart move, honestly.
It's
Very
also
smart.
super meta. Of course, that's
Yeah.
what we say when we're watching horror movies. I would just leave, or there's no way I wouldn't go there. I wouldn't do that. So it's fun that Wes let this guy take the reins on that character because, for one, he doesn't need to die. He also doesn't need to stick around. No offense, like that made him more relevant in the film. I think
Absolutely.
It
the
did.
minute he did that.
It's kind of like he took over for Randy a little bit. He's just, this doesn't make sense. I'm leaving.
Could you
Does
imagine
not make
risking
sense.
your life for a job? You're just like putting your life on the
No.
line just to film
No.
Gail Weathers. Like, nope. I'm
Plus,
out.
it like worked with someone going against Gale Weathers because he was a pretty outspoken character. He wasn't like someone who would just take what Gale Weathers would dish out like the first cameraman did.
Kenny.
Yeah.
So I love Laurie Metcalf. I love the ending really where what's his name, Mickey. Where after Mickey is talking about his stupid trial motive, whatever, and after she shoots him, he's shot and he's like down at the moment before he comes back up. She's like, my motive isn't as 90s as Mickey's. It's kind of commentary on like how the movies are like, it's the 90s now. We're in the 90s. And she's just like, nope, good old fashioned revenge, even though I ditched my son.
Yep.
But I think that Mickey, when I first watched it, I'm pretty sure like we get that fake sense of because he has a few moments alone with Sydney, so it feels like you're led to believe a little bit that he might be a possible love interest for Sydney because her boyfriend might be the murderer. It felt that a little bit, but I don't know.
Well, he is there.
He
And
doesn't feel there enough. He feels out
right.
of
That's what I'm
place.
saying. That's exactly what I'm saying. Like he felt like the replacement for somebody, and like he was going to continue on in the next film, or he was the killer. He felt like the red herring, and the reveal being Billy Loomis's mom is still alive and is one of the other killers, being the surprise, obviously. The moment though that they reveal Mickey is the killer and her boyfriend isn't is so good. How he just gets shot. Like, can you imagine being Sydney and not trusting and second guessing your boyfriend and then watching him get his chest blown out in the next breath? Horrendous. But also, I'm so glad that they went that brutal because they opened that brutal. They open with a knife in the ear. You got to shoot somebody in the chest.
Obviously, the best song in any of the Screams is Red Right Hand. But it's not really officially a needle drop because the boyfriend sings it badly. Jerry O'Connell is. I think it's cute that he's a bad singer, and I like that song. The cast talked about how we had to hear that song all day to shoot that. But I think I love you, so what am I so afraid of? I love that song. I love the part.
Cute. It's a cute moment, and it makes it very 90s teen to me.
I know very 90s. Yeah.
It's very 90s. I think that's one of the things that makes it feel more like a 90s teen movie than a horror movie. Or moments
yes,
like
the kid
those.
from Stand By Me. It's a cute moment. I don't think he's cute, but I think
it's the
a
guy
cute
from
moment.
Sliders. Hello.
Although, to be fair, him doing that in that moment when she's like, hey, I need space. This thing is going on. I just really need space. You should have respected that. I think that he's making it about him, about her trusting him or not.
Men are so
I think he should.
Pushy.
But
sorry.
The guy from Piranha 3D, let's be real here, Optimisty says. The guy from Piranha 3D.
Oh my god. Okay, first of all, I don't know if you know this yet, Optimisty, but that's one of my favorite movies.
I'm saving it for summer.
I love it so much.
No, I haven't seen it. I'm waiting for the summertime to see it.
Shut up. Oh man, Emma, I cannot wait because
it's so fun.
I think I'll like the way you describe it. I think I'll have fun.
You're gonna have fun.
Just wait for his character.
It's like the perfect in between of the type of trash I watch and the type of trash you watch.
It's true. It blends them perfectly.
Beautifully. Yeah. Beautifully. And the kind of trash that Crystal watches, to be honest. You and your shark.
Yeah. My shark obsession, yeah. Even though it's
that is so funny, actually. I think Piranha 3D, that might be the podcast movie that
it might be perfect.
So I think one of the coolest scenes in Scream 2 is it's a weird conversation with I think the teacher with the professor, her theater was supposed to be a red herring. I'm not sure. But I think that was one of the coolest scenes in the movie, which I like Scream 2. See, you hear me talking about it. I like it. It's just
sequel talking about sequels.
Particularly talking about a sequel, but also I really liked the Agamemnon rehearsal where there's the people in the robes and the whole Cassandra thing. I thought that was cool.
Yeah.
Also, when Randy's delivering the rules again, and if you want it to be a trilogy, you never ever, and then he's cut off. I think is a very clever thing to do. Very clever.
Yeah.
And Hot and Leary, your boyfriend, Justine, is he your hot choice for this movie?
No. I don't think he's hot in the franchise.
Don't act like you haven't said Liv Schreiber's really hot because
I said Liev Schreiber in Ray Donovan is hot. Liev Schreiber in anything else, I'm not really into, but Ray Donovan.
I just wanted to bring it up.
Holy cow. Super hot. Oh no, Scream 2 is definitely Timothy Oliphant.
Yeah,
Definitely.
absolutely. That's my
Even
pick
with his
too.
crazy eyes at the end, he's still so hot.
Yeah, he's a complete psycho, but oh my god. You realize we've picked the same hot pick and both of them have been the killers. Whoops.
Yeah,
I get to pick one.
I think
No, I know.
Ghostface in the new trailer is sexy. What do you expect?
Fair.
Hey, you guys know I can be into a good killer, good villain anytime. I've talked about it, but just not in Scream. Ghostface just doesn't do it for me.
So who's your Scream 2 pick?
I guess.
I do have a type, and it's Ghostface.
I guess it's Sydney again.
Okay.
I really love this franchise.
I love Sydney. I just don't. The guys aren't for me. They're not for like in a sexy way.
It's this one that it becomes clear that Dewey has an intro.
He's what?
Right? He's got his intro sound.
Yeah,
His
yeah,
intro
yeah.
sound. Yeah. I love Dewey.
Drop.
He's still dewdrop in this one. Still kind of doofy. But
He is.
he's
little bit.
he's a little bit better. He's a little bit better. He's got more oomph with Gail. I love this is where he's like talks back to her based off of her book and how she portrayed him as stupid. His rant, do you remember that? Maybe I'm acting that way to get ahead of them. I think like acting stupid is like his way of
Because she keeps on
outsmarting
comparing him
everybody.
to Barney Fife, which is
Barney,
a good
yeah.
reference. I used to watch the Andy Griffith Show. I'm pretty hardcore. I did. Hey, I
believe you.
love.
Oh, if there is
I
anything we
love-
believe more, I'd be surprised.
Yep.
I'm a Don Knotts fan. I want that on record. Don Knotts fan right here.
All right.
Sweet.
All right. That's sweet.
So getting into the one now that Crystal is a major defender of, and I am too.
am.
I'm a big defender of
Yeah.
Scream 3. I may have it last on my list, but it's still a 4-star film for me. Like I still love the shit out of it. This is where meta happens. Like when we're talking about horror movies, and we're going to talk about a horror movie being filmed about we're meeting characters who are portraying the characters in the films.
We're literally meeting
that
the
is-
Weinstein characters.
We
Craven is
are.
putting it to them in this movie. It's
He
incredible.
is. It is way ahead of his time again because he's literally
Yeah.
talking about them taking advantage of actresses and sleeping with
Yeah.
them. That is a
Fair. I think he's
Yeah.
probably just talking about most producers, although he probably is talking about them, but also others as well.
I know him. I
Sure.
feel like he was.
does the job.
Yeah. It's
Does
it's
the
very
job.
good either way.
That is why he's my favorite director.
Oh, one thing that I wanted to definitely bring up that comes up again in the third one, so it's not backtracking. I don't like the malignment of Maureen Prescott. I think that it's judgy. I don't care
It
for it.
is. That's like kind
They're
of the
always like,
point,
she
is
was such a
resolving that.
whore.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay. First off, the sacred bonds that people break that has nothing to do with me is none of my business. She had an affair with a married man when she was married. That's none of my business. Who are we to judge her? Who are we to judge Maureen Prescott? Also, people always talk about how she was showing her tits all over town. It was something crass like that. There was a comment.
That is
and
so small town though.
it is
Yeah.
very small town. I'm just saying. I'm talking
Well, I
about the
think they
sentiment.
resolved
I'm
it
not talking.
more in 3.
They do resolve it more in 3.
Yeah.
They always talk about Maureen Prescott that way. I'm not saying they shouldn't. It's a good part of the story. Wes Craven commenting on how movies affect the general public. He's talking about the corruption itself within the studio system.
Yeah, I really like that they included that. I think that's pretty important. And again, like I said, it does help wrap up some of the really bad images that were put on her character in the beginning. The slut shamey stuff, it brought it back to, oh, this is actually kind of abusive and it's not okay. I do like that they did that and included it and they made them all dirtbags. I also really like how they killed Cotton in the opening and he's the opening kill.
It was 100% Cotton kind of kill, getting teary with Larry.
I love that they did that because it kind of made it feel like there was more opportunity to possibly lose a character that we didn't expect because he is a core character. He's been around. And the fact that they just killed him in the opening feels a little, oh, who else might they kill in this? I really
It's
like
also
that.
on the tape, as you knew in trivia. It's also on the tape.
What?
Nobody's safe, even you, Sydney, and Randy's.
Oh,
Randy's
yeah. Yep. Yeah, anybody.
All bets are off.
All bets are off. Yeah.
It's my least favorite opening. I feel like it's the
It
most
is too.
lackluster opening. I wish that they had done it a little different. I don't know. but I still
How
love
do
it.
you feel about the voice changer? Because I know some people don't like that. They think it's gimmicky and silly.
I think
Is it
it's a good way to move the franchise along. Try something different. I think it worked,
It
but
literally could have been there or not, and it wouldn't have mattered to me.
it
Yeah,
didn't change anything for me. Like it's
yeah, yeah.
So
I
why do you
agree.
guys think that Scream 3, because to me Scream 3, Scream 2, Scream 4 doesn't they're all equal for me. Like they are what they are. But why do you guys feel Scream 3 is considered one of the lesser of the franchise?
a lot of people hate the comedy in it. They think that it's not serious at all, but a lot of people really hate like the dead mom coming back stuff. A lot of people feel like it cheapened it. That's what I've read online and stuff.
Oh, the
I
dream
personally,
sequence?
yeah,
Yeah,
like
I'm not gonna
yeah.
lie. I could do without the dream sequence too. It's not needed.
I
Like
feel
it
like
didn't
it's a
need.
good way though to show like Sydney's trauma. Like I feel like that's
Mm,
I don't know, I feel like that's something that people do deal with. And I feel like that was the kind of because she's gone through so much by this point.
yeah.
Bad script is a short way to say that, yes.
Best script? No.
They
Well,
didn't need to do a dream sequence for that. They could have easily had her do the same thing like they did with the theater scene in the second one where she was maybe
Mhm.
seeing Ghostface, jumping more. It's clear that she has PTSD reactions to
Yeah.
things. It could have done that. They also showed how traumatized she is because she's living in the middle of nowhere
Oh yeah.
and clearly trying to be off grid. So I don't know. I didn't need it, but it doesn't bother me. I feel like a lot of people didn't like it because they felt it went too gimmicky with the meta
Mhm.
aspect. And then also a lot of people complain about the voice changer. They say that's also not even
Mhm.
possible.
feels
So
nitpicky, that
gimmicky.
part.
But it's true. They like combine all those things as being like really gimmicky and cheapens it. So
How
I can see
CinemaSins
that.
of them. It's interesting how this movie is, instead of a movie that's commenting on like the sins of the parents are affecting the children, this one is a little different in the sense that it's the sins put upon Maureen Prescott are still affecting her children, as we find out. It's an interesting difference, which I think they could have emphasized a little bit more. But I don't know.
I
I think Roman's probably one of my least favorite motives and killer.
it's a last favorite killer too.
Yeah.
That is the other huge complaint. A lot of people really hate that they retconned Roman as some guy who orchestrated the first kills. That kind of was the mind behind Stewie and Billy instead of Stewie and
Yeah.
Billy. So a lot of people hate that. And I don't need that either. That was
No.
unnecessary. There was a mild timing and plot hole in the first film. And I think they tried to wrap it up by making it out like there was a third killer in the first film. And it was around the bathroom scene in the first film. She gets attacked in the bathroom at school and runs out. And at that point, Billy is outside already because she runs into him. But also, Matthew Lillard, she just left. So it couldn't have been him. I think that's an
Mm.
editing error, though. Like there might have been another scene in there that kind of spread it out a little bit
It's
further.
not very noticeable. If you had me guess, like if I didn't know the Screen 2 script was the one that was leaked, so they had to change everything. If they said which Scream movie was the one where it was leaked, so they had to change a lot, I definitely would have guessed 3. And I don't mean that as a diss, but I definitely, that would have been immediately the one I guessed.
I love that they're related because that's another trope that they hit right on the head. The like related killer reveal at the end, the scorned half sibling. I love that they did that. What I hate is he's a super spoiled, entitled one who has no reason to be upset he didn't have a mummy because
Yeah.
he was rich making films with his super rich producer
Yeah,
owned.
but didn't the dad give him money, I assume, to shut him up
Yeah.
or whatever?
Oh,
The dad,
no.
for those that might not remember, the dad being the big producer who raped Sydney's mom when she was trying to be an actress in the business.
Yeah.
Middleton or something.
Yeah. He's his father.
Yeah.
Totally.
But if he didn't give him money, I mean, he probably had to work. He is an orphan, kind of. I mean, his parents aren't. His
Don't
parents are dead.
remember his
They
dad
couldn't-
being quiet about him being his son.
He was no, nobody knew that. He revealed it to everybody. Like he's like, well, because they confront him. You knew Maureen Prescott. They gave her stage name. You knew her. She worked here, and all this kind of stuff. He's like kept that quiet.
They didn't know that Maureen knew him, but they knew that Roman was his son. That wasn't a secret. The
Oh, I
fact
thought
that
that was a
Maureen was his
secret.
mother was the secret, and that
Mhm.
Sydney was his half
Oh,
brother.
I thought they
Um,
didn't know that his dad was the producer. I didn't.
no, because that's why he was directing Stab.
I thought it was he had a lot of music
Yeah.
video awards. I remember that. which felt like a joke in
Are you
itself.
talking about at the house? That was his dad's house
Well, it
with the
was a
secret
point. I think it was.
passages and stuff.
Oh, I thought it was like someone was at Roman's place, and they're like, "I'm here with all your music video awards," and they were making fun of him. I don't know. Maybe I'm
Oh
wrong.
yeah, that was his office. Yeah,
Yeah, his
yeah, that was his
office. Yeah,
office.
the
Yeah.
actress that was got killed.
Was there Jenny
McCarthy.
McCarthy? Thank you.
Yeah.
I can't stand her, but yeah, I'm glad she gets it. I think her kill is really fun, actually. I love how she like goes
Yeah.
into the room with all the ghost face costumes, and then you see the feet come down. Oh,
Yeah.
so good.
Really well done.
What's your favorite character in this one? Because Parker Posey did it for me. Parker
Yeah.
Posey and Gail Weathers together made this film.
Yeah, that was
so
fun.
Yeah, this
It's
is
a tit
where
for tat.
Gail really shines in this one. I feel like
Yeah.
Gail is a standout role in Scream 3. I know, yeah, blah blah, her bangs. I'm so tired of hearing.
I
about
don't
her
care about the bangs. They don't
Me
bother me
neither.
that
They do
much.
not faze me, and I don't know why everybody only focuses on her hair because I'm like, it's not that bad.
It's
Get over
not.
it.
A lot of people have those bangs. It is funny that they like made them unintentionally shorter on accident though.
Yeah.
It was like clip-in bangs. They weren't even really her
Yeah.
bangs. They were clip-ins and they like cut them wrong or they put them in wrong or something and so then they just kept it throughout the whole movie. Just
What's
fix
wrong with her
them and
bangs?
they're
They're
like
short?
super short. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not that big of a deal. People are
It's
crazy.
not. Yeah. Yeah, she's a standout. She's way more snarky and like a fun
Mhm.
way now because now we like her for it. We're like, that's funny.
That's the thing. Like Gail Weathers' character arc from the first movie throughout the whole franchise is it's fantastic. Like she's become one of my favorite characters, but 3 is where it completely started changing for me.
Yeah.
She's so good. Like such a solid character and such a good like friend even to like Sydney and stuff, you know. You can see that she
Yeah.
truly does care to try to figure this all out and save her.
Yeah. Parker Posey though.
Oh, she's so good.
She's so
She-
dramatic.
Yeah.
So are we picking our sexy character from 3 now?
Sure. Go ahead.
Parker Posey. Yeah, I'm gonna go with Parker Posey.
I guess Sydney or Parker Posey.
Yeah,
Sydney doesn't feel in it enough.
Do you? She's not. She's really not. This is the one
No,
where she has
she's
the least
not.
amount of screen time.
I guess I'd have to say Parker Posey too because I can't really think. Oh, you know what we didn't mention though is Mark Kincaid, Sydney's future husband.
Oh, that's right.
Not that I think he's hot. I'm just trying to think of characters, but he was such a red herring in this one. Did you guys think?
Oh
that? I thought
yeah, like he gave total killer stalker vibes, which it was totally
Yeah,
intentional.
totally.
Obviously. Oh,
Quite the
he was hot
line. I remember the
too.
line
He
where
was
he's
big.
where Sydney's like where Sydney is suspicious of him. And she's like, "So what's your favorite movie?" And he's like,
My
"My
life."
life."
He's so dramatic about it.
So
It's
dramatic.
the whole movie.
He like
is
leans
super
in.
dramatic.
My life.
Yeah.
It's very over the top. I think that's
And
why
it's
I have so
like
much
them
fun.
relating to each other for having such terrible trauma. Yeah. I actually really love that they're married in 5.
It's cute.
It makes me
Well,
so happy.
Wait,
It's kind of weird though because
We don't
why
see
is
him.
it not mentioned in 4? It's never brought up until 5. Would she not have
they
already?
forgot about it. Maybe.
Or they just kind
Maybe
of
they
knew,
broke
but
up and they had a separation time, and that's when Scream 4 happened, and then they got back
maybe.
together.
They
There you
stayed in
go.
touch. Scream 4 happened. He's like, I can't handle you being in this position again. And he comes and saves her. And he lives with her.
Because he like comes back to her house for popcorn and a movie at the end of 3. They're like buddy all of a sudden.
Yeah.
Because we know what "come to my house for popcorn and movie" means. Actually, that doesn't always mean that. Because sometimes I'm a super nerd and I want to watch the
Netflix and
movie.
Jill. You
Yeah,
mean?
same.
Not Netflix, ew. But I want to watch the movie. I need to watch the movie.
Yeah, I watched the movie.
Yeah. So Parker Posey, the hottest. Do you remember?
She's also fun.
The funniest
funnest.
scene is when the Yushi guy who plays Dewey's character is like talking shit about the other actress and then, like basically implying that she slept with the director, which it turns out later she admits that she did. But he's like talking shit about her, and Parker Posey's character is like, so she didn't sleep with you? Because he was so butthurt about her. No, that's not what I'm saying. It's just so perfect. I love that part.
She's so funny.
So good.
Yeah,
And
I think she's
perfect
the highlight.
against it makes Gail, like I said, it makes us like her sass more, where before that it felt a little bully-ish. Like she felt like she was always
Absolutely.
bullying somebody. But when it was pit against Parker Posey, it was banter and it was fun.
Yeah.
And then they became a team, so it was
They
cute
did.
when they were a cute
Exactly.
team.
They were. I
They
was
were.
actually
Meeting Carrie
sad that she
Fisher.
died and didn't
Yeah.
make it to the end. I feel like Parker Posey could have made it. That would have been fun.
I think she should have, yeah.
Yeah. All right. Did you say your pick? Did you pick Parker Posey too? Are we Parker
We're
fans?
Parker. We're Team Parker on this one.
Team
Team
Parker.
Parker.
Nice.
Woohoo.
All right. Going into my second favorite, Scream 4. Oh, I love Scream 4 so much.
Me
This movie was
too.
not well received.
No.
Most movies that are part of franchise when it hasn't been a long time, it's
Late
just,
franchise. Yeah.
it's the discourse that always happens, whether it's Halloween 2018 or Halloween Ends or whatever, or Scream 4, Scream 5. There's always going to
Mhm.
be people that unabashedly like it and people that just hate it. And no
Mhm.
matter what it was going to be, they were going to hate it. And there's some people that
It
legitimately
gained a
hate
lot
it.
more love now than it did when it first came out, for sure.
It's
Yes.
a lot of
I think-
people's favorite. I've seen a lot of people
Rank
really
it
like
Well, it's
higher
grown on
now.
me. It's not that I
Yeah.
hated it when I first watched it. It's gone up my list significantly the more I watch it. It gets better
Yeah.
with age.
it is 10 years later, so it's quite a long time since last.
Yeah, 11 years later.
Quite the
It's,
jump.
I don't know. For me, like you said earlier, Crystal, it's ahead of its time. The way that they talk about film, it's even more centered on fandom, like Scream 2 was to a degree in the theater, but more so. This is more about like the actual fans, the people who are having
Completely agree.
stab-a-thons, who talk about it, not just a film studies class, but they have a club about it. And they're just talking about horror movies. They vlog about it. They're influencers about it. This went way into things that weren't really taking off yet. They were at the buds. They were budding.
Yeah.
This is the budding of vlogging at the time. 2011. Yeah, not a lot of people were like influencers yet, right?
No.
Oh, not general
So-
public. Yeah, not in the same way.
No, not like that. Not to the degree where you have an entire high school that watches your vlog.
I
Like-
forgot a silly fun fact.
Yeah.
It's a quick one. I think we all know that Scream was originally going to be called Scary Movie. But do you know how they came up with the title for Scream?
No.
Because they screamed. Why?
Michael Jackson and Janet Jackson's Scream, in their music video for it had come out, and they're like,
Oh.
"Hey, let's just call it Scream."
I used to play this game in the car with my mom when I was a kid. She would drive me, like she lived in Eastern Washington. My dad lived in Western Washington. Every other weekend, we would make this like 6-hour trip to and fro. And we would play a car game where you had to guess like the movie we're thinking of. And you had to give one clue. And one time she about gave me a heart attack because she's like, "Okay, I got my movie." And she's like, "First clue." She's looking at me and she goes, "Ah!" and screams really loud in the car. And scared the shit out of me. And I was like, "Scream?" I had to like catch my breath. It scared me so much.
Your mom sounds
Yep.
cool. Like my family wouldn't know that, like John Carpenter, Wes Craven, who?
Yeah, no, mine either.
I've been watching scary movies for a very long time, and my family has decently embraced it. At least my mom has for sure. My dad, for a while there, when we were born again Christians, we're not.
It was a phase.
It was a phase.
Yeah.
Now they love me.
I do
Annoying.
completely agree with you, Justine. It's a smart observation where I think part of why Scream 5 feels a little less effective is because it feels kind of like the same thing from Scream 4, where it's making a commentary specifically on the fandom. It's not making a commentary on movies' effect on killers or teenagers. It's not commenting so much on generational trauma as it is talking about like current culture and fan culture specifically, the Randys. So yeah, so it feels very different. And I do Kirby, obviously fan favorite for good reason. I wish she was in it a little bit more. I think the killer was a little disappointing for me on this one, but
Yeah,
Oh, really?
Charlie.
one of the
like,
killer Charlie I
Oh.
like, but not Jess,
Oh,
whatever.
that's the
Oh, me
opposite
too.
for me. I do not like Charlie. He's a little incel bitch, and he killed Kirby, and I hate him.
Oh, I don't like
No.
Charlie. I like him as
The
the
killer.
like that.
So can't even get that right, Charlie. Yeah, no, Charlie is actually my least favorite killer in the entire franchise. Roman is really close. Yeah,
Fair.
I like Charlie until I find out why he's a killer and why he wants to kill Kirby, and then I'm like, oh, so you're just have a big crush on Emma Watson's character.
Yeah.
Gross.
Gross.
That doesn't work for me. I didn't like it, especially because he's not shy. Like he's part of this blog that's very popular. Like they throw massive parties. People really like to hear them talk. He's in front of this groups of people, and you're gonna tell me that this guy is a guy who can't get a girlfriend, who's like an incel, who's shy and rejected. Like he's not anything like that in the movie up until
I
he
think he
admits he
pictures
is.
himself that way. I think that's how he pictures himself.
Maybe people could tell he was a psychopath.
Maybe.
Maybe they could just, they knew deep down.
They sensed it. They
Yeah.
sensed it. I mean, that's what they say. I don't know. That's the way it is with like school shooters. They always say that they're like these dejected youth, but really they tend to be like really popular bullies. So sure, it follows that to a degree, but they never say that they're dejected. They're narcissists usually. So it's weird to me. I would have preferred it if he was just someone who wants to live his fantasy and he also had a crush on her, not someone who was just like rejected. I don't know. It gave me incel vibes and I didn't like it. So
That's
didn't
fair.
work for me.
See, the Jill
I'm
reveal
supposed to like
worked
him.
so well for me.
Same.
She wants
this
to be
movie-
a famous victim. I don't know.
Yeah.
That's
Living in the
literally
shadow
today.
of Sydney. Yeah.
That's like more relevance today too. Like along with the live streaming, like people want fame and they'll do anything to get it. Like that's
Literally.
Oh no,
so
it feels a little
Especially-
dangerous to me. Like, be a famous victim. Yeah, it does. No,
but that's
it's
what
Yeah.
they do. People will do that.
I see what you're saying because it feels a little victim blamey when it comes to like real life, how people say like, oh, she's just saying that because she wants to be famous.
She wants the attention. She wants the fame.
Yeah,
I
that's
don't
different.
like it. Feels
Like,
weird to me.
Bill's not pretending like she got raped, so I can disconnect those issues. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
She's someone
but
who wants to be famous and get out of the shadow of her cousin.
Yeah.
She's living in the shadow of because they're still in the same town. Like she just wants to get out of that. And it makes sense to me that she's thinking about becoming an influencer so she doesn't have to go to college because that is on our mind. We want to be famous when we're teenagers. We talk about stuff like that. And especially today where you have influencers.
Not me. Maybe that's why I just don't get her. I don't get it. I would be mortified if like people knew me from something like that.
Oh,
like,
I would be too.
I just don't get it.
But like I said, it's the fact that she's in the shadow of Sydney that's an important thing about it, and she talks about that.
She's putting
Talks about
herself
getting
in
out of
the
her
shadow.
shadow.
Sydney, because
Sydney's famous.
'cause
She's well known in that town.
Yeah,
They
but
put
Sydney
ghost
doesn't want
faces
to
on the
be.
light posts every.
That's the point of her book.
every-
She doesn't want to be there. She doesn't want to be in the
She
spotlight.
literally comes back to promote her book.
Yeah, you couldn't even write a book if you didn't
her
want to have a
book.
little
Yeah,
bit
but
of
her
this.
book. But her book is about not being a victim. That's like the point of why she talks.
Yeah,
and
but
she
that
wants
doesn't
to
mean she's
inspire
not
other people.
famous.
Yeah.
So you think
I'm
Sydney
not-
likes being famous?
No, I think that Jill lives in her shadow, and it's not by choice.
Yeah.
I don't think Jill chose to live in Sydney's shadow. I think that Jill just happens to be related to her and will always be in that position. I don't think that that's a reason to be a murderer, but I think that it's an interesting concept.
What kind of influencer she wants to be?
She just wanted to be famous. That's it. That's all.
Yeah, she just didn't.
Oh,
want
she could
work.
be famous.
She wanted to be the
for
sole
anything.
survivor.
Yeah.
If she wanted to exploit everything, she doesn't actually care about creating something good in the world. Obviously,
She talked about co-writing a book with Gail Weathers.
So that's what she still could have done that without murdering anybody and without having to be a survivor herself. It's already she could exploit the fact that
survivor, so that it was never her
it's
living
not
in
as
the shadow of
I don't know. It
Sydney.
sounds stupid to me.
And they recorded all of it so that she would also have it on video to leak out constantly, so that she was constantly getting attention for it. Unlike Sydney, there's no footage of Sydney's murders, trauma. So the point is, that was her motive. I get it, especially when you see today influencers who are trying to break out of the shadow of their older sibling who's famous, or their famous musician's sibling or family member. Some of them are trying to break out of that on things like TikTok and stuff. Modeling, Bella Hadid and Gigi Hadid. Gigi Hadid is always going to live in Bella Hadid's shadow, that kind of stuff. Yeah, it's very, I think it was ahead of its time. Sure. I think we were quite there yet in 2011, but it's so relevant now. Makes it more classic, I think. It's standing the test of time a lot better.
And despite the motive, you cannot deny that when she pulls that mask off, that was so shocking. That was one of the most.
She killed her own mom.
Yeah, she killed her own mom, and then I never saw that coming. When I first watched that, I was stunned, like floored.
There is such a good hint once in the bedroom scene.
Once
when
you go
she's
back
under
and
the bed,
Yes.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
she's like, and then the minute that Sydney goes out the window, she watches Ghostface, and she's not even like scared. She's just kind of smiling almost while she watches
Yeah.
the foot go by her.
What do
Like,
you guys
it's
think
so
this movie is saying about the fandom? What is it saying?
So part of it was because they were trying to make their own movie and fame. That is more about influencing and about how we sensationalize true crime is what I got from it. I didn't get this being about the fandom as much as it is about fandoms of true crime because in this universe, Stab is based on true crime. It's
So it's
not
kind of
based
similar to Mickey in a way, like a more modern version of Mickey's motive.
except for he wanted to be the famous killer in the famous jury scene. Like he wanted to
Yeah,
be the
he just
famous
wanted to-
trial.
Yeah.
That is like the motivation that a lot of killers have. A lot of killers have they want to be famous for their being like the serial killer, or they just want to be well known for their whatever book they wrote. What are those called? Manifesto that they have in their closet.
Oddly
Oh,
enough, people that usually write manifestos smell like old milk. Just so you know.
fun
I
fact.
didn't know that.
Someone smells like old milk, beware. There's a
They
manifesto
have a
around.
manifesto nearby.
They've got a manifesto somewhere, and they're probably gonna make you read it.
What?
I haven't had experiences. It's fine,
That's funny.
but it's a thing.
I believe you. You said it with so much gusto. That's a
Well,
fact.
also what's his face, Unabomber. He smelled like old milk too, and had a manifesto. It's a thing. Trust me. Don't trust
I
someone that
trust you.
smells like old milk.
I trust you. I don't know these things, but
So yeah, I think that's what this was about, was sensationalizing true crime. But I could be wrong. That was my take. And
No,
influence,
I just
blogging,
couldn't.
tech.
I just really
things like that.
couldn't stretch something, so I was wondering what you guys saw. Because it felt like.
What about you,
"Mm, that's
Crystal? What do you
something."
think?
I never got anything about fandom in this, to be honest.
Mhm.
Fandom was all in Scream 5 for me. That's where I focused that. Scream 4,
Yeah.
no, just wanting to be famous. That was like the main focus for me. That's all I could think
I
about.
got the fandom from the vlogging guys who ran Stabathon, and it was this big party that they were embracing this like thing about their small town and making it like how generations later you turn it into something like that, how it changes. But again, like in this universe, it's true crime. Their fandom is a fandom of true crime. Whereas
How
for
did you
us,
guys feel about Gail in this movie, where it seems like her wings are clipped by her own choices? Not Dewey so much. Dewey's doing his job.
I like
yeah,
that
they're
she's still
trying
doing
to.
like detective work and stuff. Like
She
her
doesn't seem
setting up the
happy.
cameras and
Judy Hicks was the
yeah,
a bit of the red
sh-
herring in this as well.
she was. She put a little bit of a
Yeah.
wedge in their relationship. That's for sure.
Yeah, I did not like Judy Hicks in this movie at all. She
Did
drove me
I?
crazy. And I think it's
Yeah.
because she was messing with Gail's man.
Yeah.
He wasn't interested in her though. He was always
It
just
doesn't
polite.
matter. She was getting
No,
in
but
Gail's way.
yeah, I felt bad for Gail actually in this one a little bit because she kept trying to help and be there to help figure out what's going on, and they were just like, "Get out of the way, get out of the way," and she was like, "Okay, I'm gonna do this myself then." I
Then
kind
she
of
gets
felt bad for
stabbed.
her, and then she
Yeah.
gets stabbed.
I
But
will say
Serious.
it was a cool scene when, because Jill's in the room, right? We deducted that and during our trivia where Charlie's ghost face, but we don't know that. When they have him on the phone, he's like, "I'm in your closet," and Kirby's, "No way, you're not." No, I'm in the closet. He's like, "She's no way, you're not," but he's across the street.
I didn't
Not
say
in
your
your
closet. Yeah. Yeah, that's a good one.
God, that's a brutal kill when he kills Olivia across the street. Like, holy man, he
Bloody.
stabs her.
I love it when
So
the cops
bloody.
get killed too.
That's actually really fun.
They were really dopey cops.
They were-
What does he say? He like hits the ground and he says something about Bruce Willis or something. I don't remember the line. It's
I
I
don't
think
pretty
it's
funny.
like it's fuck Bruce Willis. It's that, and I'm like, you know what? Fair.
So random.
Yeah, it's funny. I love it. I love it that they talk about it and then it exactly happens, but
Yeah.
just like in a different order.
Yeah.
It's hilarious.
And that's Adam Brody, isn't it?
Yeah.
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 God, he just always pops up
Yeah.
in these movies.
Yeah. It's funny. Okay, so your sexiest pick for 4,
Probably Kirby.
Kirby.
Oh, Kirby for
Yeah.
sure.
Kirby.
Kirby for sure.
Yeah.
Kirby for
That's who I'd say.
sure. Yeah,
Yeah.
I love her
You
so
know who I
much.
absolutely loathe in this movie is Sydney's publicist. Hated her.
Oh, we're
I thought
supposed
she
to.
was
Like
so
Allison Brie,
different.
but
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
but
no, I
she's
like her.
totally like a money grabber.
Yeah. I was happy to see her demise.
It was a
I
good
think
one.
a lot of people think Scream 4 is one of the better ones.
It is for sure now. Yeah, I agree with Justine. More people have accepted it now, more so than they did when it first came out. This opening scene in Scream 4, I thought is one of the best. All
So
of these,
fun.
it's like star-studded. Like, there's all these, like, it's an homage to like the original Scream opening with Drew Barrymore, but then it just keeps repeating. It's like layer after layer.
Goception.
Yeah, and it's done. So it just kept catching
Don't
me
make
off
it
guard.
painful,
Inception.
Justine. No Inception. I want to die.
It
It is so
is.
deep. It is.
A movie in a movie in a
It's so
movie.
good. Yeah. Like the fact that it kept being like stab 6, stab 7. I was like, holy
Yeah.
shit, is this ever going to end?
I
I
love it.
loved it. And the
And
fact that it was all
Kristen
well
Bell
known.
being the one that killed her.
I love Kristen
Yeah.
Bell.
All
Yeah.
well known.
It was fun. It was a fun
And it's
beginning.
Anna Paquin at the height of True Blood.
So
Like,
yeah, so good.
so good.
Oh,
I loved it.
absolutely love
Yeah.
it. Yep.
It's fun. It's a fun one. I love the opening.
is.
Yeah, and it's silly, but just silly
If-
enough, I think.
If we're
Silly enough.
talking in feelings, emotions, opinions aside, we haven't had a script this tight since the first one. I feel, especially compared to 3, and I'm not saying 3 is bad. I'm just saying when it comes to things making sense in linear time for a 3-act movie,
Yeah.
Scream 4
I
sounds
agree.
Yeah.
like not a very
agree
good
too.
compliment, but I mean it that way.
No, it definitely has a really well thought out plan from beginning to end, especially the
Yes.
order of kills, the reveals, and some of the mystery. Like the part where we know Jill's the killer, but Dewey and Gail don't know yet. But when the way that they find out makes sense, it works. So I like that. I like that they do that.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
yeah, the script is toy.
It is toy. And like you said, it does have the right amount of humor that it's the perfect blend. Because this movie is actually,
Yeah.
it's got a lot of dark moments and it's got a lot of really brutal
Very.
kills in it, but
Yeah.
it blends it all very well. That
I think until 5, it was the most brutal of kills.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
We got another ear one too, except for it was the back of the head, the door for her mom,
Yeah.
through the mailbox.
It
Oh,
was
yeah, the
Yeah.
mail slot.
gnarly.
So
Gnarly.
gnarly.
Could you imagine? Oof.
Yeah.
We get that iconic Sydney line where she says, "You forgot one thing or whatever. Don't fuck with the original."
Don't fuck
I
with
think
the
that's one of the
original.
best
Yeah.
He came into it
franchise.
a little late on this one again, but that's okay. She could have been at it sooner.
I feel like she was in it more.
You know
More
what?
so
I'm
than-
confusing
yeah.
it with the 5th one. I get them confused a little bit.
Oh.
Yeah. Oh,
yeah.
yeah. The other one was, I think, Scream 2, where she said, "Not in my sequel" or something. I love that too.
Yeah. She's got some
Yeah.
good one-liners for
She
sure.
does. She does. That's why she's like the best final girl.
Yes, I agree.
I don't agree, but I do like her a lot.
Gail's also a
Surprising.
final girl.
Surprise, Emma.
Exactly. No surprise, Emma.
So if you guys liked this episode, make sure you hit that like and subscribe. Hit the bell notification so that you get notified of our next episode when it drops. If you did not watch this live on Twitch, you probably should go subscribe to our Twitch so that you can follow us there, where we do behind the scenes filming and you can see us make all of our silly mistakes before it gets edited and put on YouTube. Also, don't forget that you could join our Patreon if you want to help us support this podcast. Making a podcast does cost money. It's not a lot. Do what we need to do though. So for Twitch, the link to all of those links are there in Twitch. You guys can see it. It says links. And for YouTube, the links to all of that will be below in the description and our link tree. Go follow all of them. All of the links.
Or we'll gut you like a fish.
Until
won't get
next time.
cut. Bye.